to the closing table with Loans by Katrina. I'm glad you decided to come back and pull up a seat. Today, we are asking the big question. Yep, I know you see it. I hear this question every day. Katrina, or this statement, Katrina, I'm ready to buy a house. I ask the question, are you really ready to buy a house? And guess what? I don't want to have this discussion by myself. I have brought along one of the best in the business to have this conversation. She is my friend, and she is my realtor partner, and she is my sorority sister, and all of the other things. So let me bring her to the front. Lori Gadson. Hey, Lori.
Hey, thank you for having me. And hello,
Welcome to the
everybody.
closing table, girl. Welcome
Thank
to the
you.
closing. You pulling
Glad,
back up a seat. Listen.
glad to be here again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we are going to talk about all the things today because you get this just like me. Hey,
hmm
Lori, I'm ready to buy a house. How many times in a day? Probably 10, 15 times in a day. Like, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. And
hmm
then I know me, I ask the question, are you really ready to
hmm
buy a house?
hmm
Now, Lori, I know you do your preliminary conversation and then you turn them over to me and I have my conversation.
hmm
But when you're talking to a person, because I mean, we hear it from all over. At this point now, I just, ask people, hey, who referred you, especially if they don't lead with a realtor. And,
hmm
I've gotten so many times in the last 30 days, I found you on Google or
hmm
I did chat. And
hmm
I'm like, okay, cool. So tell me, what did you put in the search when you were looking? And, after some conversation, yes, they're ready in mind, but then there's always the reluctance sometimes that I hear, or like, okay, you're ready. Well, no, I'm really not ready. I just kind of wanted to see if I was ready. When
hmm
somebody tells you, I am ready to buy, what tells you that they're really ready?
Um, there are different things that I look for, and some of them will be on site. Some of them you
Mm-hmm.
will just know by the way, conversation, and then some of them it is their behavior going through the process. So when I send them to you, that's the first sign. If they are not completing their
Mm-hmm.
application expeditiously, if they're not giving you what you need, if they are not communicating with me as I reach out to them, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
having to push them along, I don't feel like they're ready. And let me just say, I have added a what I call a mindset session to my consultation.
Mm.
So it's a psychology of the matter, if you
Okay.
will. You can gauge and kind of assess where they are. Yes, it's a scary process.
For sure.
I'm not going to minimize that because it is. It is a bit element of fear. I don't care how many times you've done it.
That's right.
So we address that, and we talk about needs, desires, and then it's the big thing, that budget, what you can afford.
Mm.
So to answer your question, it, again, there are some things on site that I can pick up on in the initial consultation, and then it's moving forward is how they operate with the lender.
So you were already in my notes because, girl, I got questions over here for
Yeah,
days that we're going to
yeah.
talk about. So you said something. You said you talked about their budget. So what happens when their wish list, because we all come with a wish list. I want
Uh-huh.
this. I want the 5,000 square feet. I want to sit on 2 acres. I want a lake. I want a pond. I want all of the things and yada yada. What happens when that wish list does not match what they're comfortable spending, not what they're approved for? They can buy it, but what they're comfortable spending.
I have had buyers to walk away
Mm.
and say, well, I'm just not going to buy it this time. I've had buyers to get a rude awakening. And again, that is
Ooh.
why I felt the need to incorporate that mindset session.
Mm.
I have done it, but I really do not like to go out and start looking before we get pre-approved.
Right.
I don't care how much
Yeah.
you make, what position you think you're in. And when we get approved first, when we get that pre-approval, that kind of minimizes, and it makes it real. It puts
For
a
sure.
reality check for people. And then we start looking for their ideals in their price point. And
Got you.
I just keep it 100% accurate and authentic with them. Listen, this is what you can afford. And we start looking at the positives of how
Hmm.
this is your first home, you won't be here
Absolutely.
forever, you can step up. So we
Yeah.
start trying to turn what can be a uh disappointing situation into a positive.
That's facts. When I talk to people sometimes, and I always, give estimated numbers, and I try to be as close to the ballpark as possible. So
Mhm.
once I know what area they're looking to be in, I find taxes that match something similar or like there. I will give scenarios with estimated insurance because I don't want to give anybody a quote with just principal and interest and they're like, oh, this is it. And then you spring it on them later. No, but you also have to include taxes and
Right.
insurance. I try to show them all the things. And just like you with the mindset, I'm
Mhm.
doing a lot of educating on the front end because
Mhm.
I need them to know just because you bought or look at this house, the house next door might cost the same, but the taxes might be very different because
Mhm.
this could be owned by a primary homeowner with homestead exemption. This one could be owned by an investor. There could
That's
be a
right.
$2,000 difference in just the taxes, which is
Easily.
impacting the payment.
Mhm.
So a lot of people will tell me in the beginning, oh, well, my mom bought a house or my uncle told me this, or and I'm like, bring everybody to the front so we can have the conversation, because what was 20 years ago or what was 5 years ago
That's
is
right.
not right now.
Not the
So I
same.
want to make sure that I'm helping them be clear of mind and able to see this is what I can afford based
Mhm.
on paper and these numbers. But then we have the conversation, what am I willing to pay? Because what I can afford and what I'm willing to pay is very different. And we get people who come, they're excited, they go, they
Mhm.
sign the contract, and then once the loan estimate goes out, it's like, oh yeah, it just got very, very real
Got real.
quickly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Quickly. Now it's what we're doing: earnest money, we're doing home inspection, we're doing appraisal, and it's like, oh my God, it's coming so fast and so furious. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. We're not
Mhm.
the home buying process. Once you get a pre-approved and ready to rock and roll, it's not going to take us a long time, especially when you know what your non-negotiables are and you're ready
Mhm.
to rock and roll. When you find that house, it's time.
Mhm.
Now, Lori, have you ever had to tell somebody that you didn't think they were ready?
Uh, let me think. Let me think long and hard. Yeah, I have had to tell people that you really can't afford,
Mm.
what you in both sides of the spectrum, and I'll share that in a minute. I have had to tell people based on what you've told me, I don't think you can, what you're looking for, it is just not a reality at this time.
Mm.
So, and that's the hard part because it's almost like
Absolutely.
you're crushing the dream of somebody when they really want to be a homeowner and they just can't afford it. So I have. And I've also had an experience early in my career where this young lady was not ready. And I did assist her
Mm.
with the property, and she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. On paper, she was, but mentally, she was not.
Yeah.
She wasn't. It was one of those things where, oh, I think I'll buy a house today. And, naturally, I was there to assist her. I did all the right things,
Mhm.
but looking back, she wasn't ready to be a homeowner.
And people often will say, oh, it's about age because they're too young. It's not. We deal with people that come from 18 to
Yeah,
83
one
and
hundred
all in
percent.
between. If that mind is not ready, because you're buying a home that you own. This is not an apartment.
No.
Nobody is coming to change your light bulb. You do have to maintain your yard. If you're in an HOA, you have to maintain the external appearance of your home so that
Hmm.
it's consistent with the other homes,
Hmm.
and even what you put into the home. You don't want to do something that's going to diminish the value of your house. So it for
Right.
sure is the mindset first. Like, are you ready? Because this is your house. How are you going to keep it? How are you going to move in it? Do you understand what the home warranty means that you got? And like, do you understand or know where you change your AC filters? Because
Hmm.
that's on you now.
Hmm.
Just those little things when I'm having conversations. And like you say, if I am begging, pleading, and pulling to get the initial documents,
That's not a good
I'm
sign.
already making notes and I'm like, Yeah, I don't know. So I'm not, it's easy to almost tell at this
Mhm.
point, I'll
Yeah.
say in the game, who's
Yes.
gonna be ready to rock and roll. And it's not about how many homes you've purchased. It is not any of that, because it's still one of the largest purchases that you'll ever make, no matter how many times you make it. It's
That's
still
right.
a process where you're exposed. Like, people see your
Hmm.
credit. Your
Hmm.
credit is like seeing you standing naked. Because guess what? We see
Yes.
how you spend money, how
Yes.
you save money. Are you
Yep.
using a firm? What is it?
Hmm.
Afterpay,
It,
Klarna, all of these
uh-huh.
things.
All the
Are
things.
you, chopping it up and spending money you shouldn't? Because that also tells us their spending habits. And for me, when I'm
Hmm.
looking at a person and I'm determining are they ready to buy, those I have those conversations. I'm looking at your bank statements.
Hmm.
Okay, let's talk about these recurring fees, because yes, it's not showing up on your credit, but when it's recurring, I have to add it to the debt to income ratio. We have to
Yeah.
have a conversation. We have to
Yeah.
talk about it. And I think there are so many people who watch TikTok and other social media platforms, or they Google and they just go down a rabbit hole. And I tell them, hey, everything that you see that's for the general person or the average, it might not be for you, because
Right.
I've
Right.
never seen two loans that look or operate or flow the same
Right.
ever.
Right. I back to what you were saying, even you may approve somebody, let's just say 500,000. I
Mm-hmm.
encourage them to go lower all the time, because one thing we do know is that taxes will change. They may go up or they may go down.
Yeah.
Insurance will change. It may go up or may go down. But if you are tight at the top of your budget, then you need to look at a
Mm-hmm.
less expensive property. And so that's kind of how I get them prepared. But there are some that, if you say 500, oh, we going 500. We are
You
going
know it.
500. And we know that we are tight.
Mm-hmm.
And you also got to look at your why. You got to look at and make a self assessment and be honest.
Yeah.
By I'm talking about, you have to be honest about why you're buying. You got to be honest about your budget,
Mm-hmm.
what you're willing to pay. Like you said, all of those things. And if you are honest and you go into it like, hey, I'm going to buy something that I am comfortable with and that I can afford. I'm not trying to live like the Joneses.
Come on now.
Who knows what that person did or is doing to make that
Mm-hmm.
payment. And so, those are the things, again, that goes into my mindset session. What's your why?
I like that, because the why, and not your what, your why,
Your
like that
why.
deep rooted.
Yep.
Because it's not because, oh, my mom bought a house when she was this age,
Yeah.
or this is what I'm supposed to be doing now, because
Hmm.
everybody isn't ready for it's what it's supposed to be right now.
Hmm.
So, I was today was a day of content for me, and I was doing some filming, and one of the videos that I did talked about, okay, you're pre-approved, but what does that mean? Are you really prepared to buy? Because on paper, a lot of people can do a lot of things. We know
Hmm.
people interview for jobs all the time and they get the job, and then you're like, who is this? You interview
Exactly.
well, you had all the things, but you're really not ready. So,
Exactly.
in that pre approval process, just talking about all of the basics that include the what's going to be on the loan estimate, what do you have to pay for, because people get real confused
Hmm.
once the loan estimate is broken down, because it's like, why do I have to pay this much for insurance? Well, you have to pay for it for the first year, and then you have to have an escrow account, and then all the things, so that you make sure that you're able to pay it and you're not paying it outside, because the average person, a first time home buyer,
You
is
can't
not
afford
trying to
that.
pay
Yeah.
5,000, $4,000 tax bill and
Exactly.
$2,600 insurance. It's
Exactly.
too much.
It's a lot of money to come up with at once. But I do like you, sorry to interject, but I do like the way
Mm.
that you break it down. And I know when we work together,
Oh yeah.
we try to cover all the bases. We don't leave room for surprises. So the expectation is, hey, I'm gonna have this to pay. You've already gone over the disclosures with them. I've already gone over the contract. So I like to educate my clients.
Absolutely.
I don't want them to say, well, Lori never told me that. Oh, yes, I did.
Oh,
We talked about it. And that's
many times, not one, because
well,
we
yeah.
forget in the
Yes, they do
excitement.
forget. They do
Many
forget in the
times.
excitement. Exactly. So there are different times at each interval of the process.
Yes.
We are going over the expectations. And remember, we talked about this, that, and the other. And we have documentation in terms of a handout that I give you to peruse as well.
Mhm.
So we're doing our jobs. It is just kind of how you, and again, like you said, it's the excitement of it all.
Indeed.
It, the excitement of it all, and then the understanding. Because when you hear something once that's foreign to you, it's not going to resonate. You're going to have to repeat it. And I know that we do.
Absolutely.
We both do that. But to the whole topic is, are they really ready to buy? There's several. It's not a one size fits all answer to that. There's
Mhm.
several intervals that and variables. I'm sorry, that will answer this question. And I think we pretty much covered them all. Um, are you ready? Are you really ready to buy?
You know, the other component is, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, family and how much can
Hmm.
family and friends be a part of
Oh
the
my gosh.
decision making process. And again, I ask, bring them all to the front early so that we
Hmm.
can make sure we're having the right conversation.
Hmm.
And you know, because I one time I was talking to a client and I could hear people in the background, and I'm
Yeah.
like, who
Yeah.
is that? You
Yeah.
know, and then
Yeah.
finally I just said, can you put me on speaker and introduce me so that I can speak to everybody,
Right.
because I don't want them over talking, because it's already new to you and you have to trust Lori as the real estate expert,
That's right.
Katrina as the loan officer, the
That's
expert
right.
in lending and finance.
Hmm.
And if you have a person who has no knowledge in the background and they're in your ear and you're already new to it and you're trying to absorb information, it's too much. So for me, that is also a person that I'm saying, I don't know if they're necessarily ready, because this person who has never bought a home, who was Googling or on Chat
Hmm.
GPT or whatever source they got it from, is telling them. And I'm like, you know, I am not willing, in at this great age, at this point in my life and career, I don't want anybody to go to purchase a home who's not ready. But I
Yeah.
do want people who are teachable and
Hmm.
coachable.
That's right.
It's funny. I was talking to a client and going over their credit report and their application. They submitted everything very quickly, and as much as I would have loved to get them pre-approved, they weren't ready due
Hmm.
to credit and some other things. And as I'm talking and just kind of, you know, explaining all of the things and what the next steps would be, because they potentially could be ready in 6 months.
Hmm.
But, you know, sometimes we have people, and when they say they're ready in their mind, they're
Yeah.
ready and they're just hopping from person to person. And
Yes.
you can see, I can see how many people have pulled the credit. So
Hmm.
I'm looking and I'm like, no, it's because of the collections, it's because of this and that. And they're like, well, I know what I need to do. I'm like, well, would you like for me to refer you to
Hmm.
someone who can assist you? Because sometimes, as our financial coach Ty has said, sometimes you don't pay off that collection, you pay this one, you
It's
negotiate depending on time. But
right.
I couldn't get a word in edgewise because the person said, well, I already know what I need to do, I've been doing it. But then they said, well, what's my score? And I shared the score and they were like, is that low? Case in point, you did one thing, but I don't know that you should have done that.
Yes.
However, I can refer you to someone that you can have a consultation and see if you're even on the right track. But
Hmm.
again, I said to myself, and I said, you know, I appreciate you allowing us to serve you and support you and take another look. But
Hmm.
at this time, we can't offer a pre approval. But I was saying to myself, that's you're not teachable, you're not coachable. So
Hmm.
that means when I'm asking for documents and I'm trying to explain what the underwriter is asking, I'm going to be fighting with you. I don't want
Yes.
to fight with you. I want to
Right.
help you. I want
Right.
to give you those three pillars: access, honesty, and knowledge. But if your ears are already closed and you know it, and you've gotten the same response multiple times,
Hmm.
you don't know it.
Mm.
You need some support.
Need
So
assistance.
I'm over here like, that's why people go hopping, looking at houses and just going on Zillow and looking and seeing whoever will show them a house, but you're not ready.
The internet itself and social media is a blessing and a curse. Okay,
Come on
because
now.
you have the researchers who are the savvy buyers, or those who think
Mm-hmm.
they are, and we want to give everybody credit for
For
doing research.
sure.
I do
For
it. If I'm
sure.
going to make a major purchase, I'm going to do my research. However,
Come on now.
you know, we got licenses. Okay, I got a state license that
Mm-hmm.
does allow me to serve in the capacity of a realtor. I'm not just a real estate agent. I'm a
That's
step
right.
further. I'm a realtor. So it all goes back to that trust rapport that we talked about. We, as hard as I try sometimes to establish trust, either from social media, you're seeing me out on social media, my ads, my
Mm-hmm.
marketing, however you come in contact with me, or even Google, um, it's still us against people that have been guiding them for so long, people that they
Mm-hmm.
already trust.
Trust.
So
Mm-hmm.
breaking down that barrier of, I hear what your family is saying,
Absolutely.
but you got to listen to me. I have your best interest at heart. I'm not just trying to make a sale with you. Now, some agents are guilty of what we call commission breath,
Come
right?
on now.
Agents but I'll tell them up front, this is what I do and I love, and I'm going to be serving, whether it is you that I serve or it is the next person that I'm serving. I'm going to serve. So, because I've had people to go as far as say, well, you know, um, pretty much condescending type remarks, like,
Oh yeah, come on now.
it's like, yeah, I'm working for you and you want to, I want to close. Yeah, I want to close. Okay, I'm not doing it for fun. And I ain't doing it for free either.
Come
But the
on.
thing is, this is a profession and I am a real estate professional. Your family, they are welcome to come and tour the homes, but ultimately you who has signed on the agreement with me, you are my client. You are who I'm going to advise. When you get too many people, and we have no way of
Mhm.
stopping that, Katrina. We don't
You're
have a way
right.
of
You're
stopping
right.
it. We don't have a way of stopping them, getting 50 million
Mm.
opinions or whatnot. But those opinions, oftentimes that I have found, lead them down the wrong direction. It's
Indeed.
it's either costing you more money, or it's costing you that house that you love that we're not going to be
Oh.
able to get because somebody else got it because you listened to them. This
Mm-hmm.
is not an industry where if you are looking to buy that you feel like the seller owes you something. The seller don't owe you nothing.
Girl, what about when they research and say, well, they paid?
Oh my gosh, they paid. Okay, yes, they did. Had you paid for the house when they bought it, you will want your money too. And that's one of the things that I talk about in my consultation as well. You
Yes.
can't worry about that now, because if that were you on the other foot, on the other shoe, would you give your house away? Absolutely not. The house did what it was supposed to do. It appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So now here's the thing. If you want it, then we have to structure off of, that's a win-win for everybody. So it's a lot of
Mm.
variables that
It
we
is.
come in contact with in your position and in my position as well.
Girl,
And
you said a mouthful when you said I'm a real tour, not just a real
yes,
estate professional, a
yes,
real
or
tour.
it's true.
Like,
It's
listen, we
true.
are not playing. This is
Yeah,
what we are here to do. We want to
absolutely.
serve. We want to get you what you need, what you want, what's going to be in the
Mhm.
best interest of you. I promise you, nobody is trying to fight, but
Yeah.
once you're ready, once you're pre-approved, then
Mhm.
we got to make sure we stay in the road, because
Yes.
sometimes we've gotten people pre-approved, they go out and get a new car, they
Yeah.
change
Yes.
jobs,
Yes.
all
Oh
of it. They
God.
go from W-2 to 1099 in the middle of
Yes.
the process. Like, we keep,
All things.
you must, now that you know who the professionals are, so you
Mhm.
have Katrina, senior loan officer, the professional, Lori, the realtor, again,
That part.
realtor. Come on
That
now.
part.
We're here to help, to serve, but you must listen. I
Yeah.
tell clients, don't make any major purchases. Call me first. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, what's major? Everything. Call me first so that I
Yeah.
can guide you. Don't co-sign for anybody. Don't
Oh,
do
definitely not.
any of those things. Just stay the course so
Mm-hmm.
that we can make sure, especially if they're deciding to shop at the top end of their budget, because anything can come into play. I got a client right now that I'm working on, working numbers, and they're in Texas. Texas has mud tax. So, in addition to the regular tax, in addition
Yeah.
to the homeowner's insurance, now you have a third tax that must be considered. So,
Wow.
taking into account all things, we have to be prepared. And it's not just finding a house that's perfect. It depends on where you're purchasing that house, what's
Mm-hmm.
coming with it. I know a lot of times when we've had homes in Albany, sometimes we have flood. We're in
Yeah,
flood
yeah,
zone.
flood insurance.
And
That's right.
that's that, or even in Florida, that kind of just
Mm-hmm.
changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask the question, or we ask the question, are you really ready
Mm-hmm.
to buy a house? We're asking about those things because the payment today is what it is, but next year
Mm-hmm.
taxes can go up.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance has gone up. I know in the market overall, insurance is so high, period.
Yeah,
Car insurance,
it is.
mortgage insurance,
It
all
is going
homeowners
up.
insurance,
Mm-hmm.
it's up. So I tell clients, we're going to get cost of living, from your job. You'll get cost of living. You're going to make more money. The average person makes more money each year. How you utilize your 4 quarters and how somebody else uses their 10 dimes might be a little different. So
That's right.
if you manage and you are fiscally responsible, then
Mm-hmm.
you don't have it to worry about, because
Mm-hmm.
hey, when that time comes, I'll be able to do what I need to do. But if you are a person who still wants to live your best life, you want to catch flights and pay for them later, you want to travel when everybody else is traveling without having a budget,
Mm-hmm.
you want to shop, you want to do all of the things,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe you're not ready to be a homeowner,
Mm-hmm.
because this purchase, remember, you're asking the lender to lend you 200, $300,000. So
That's
we're looking at how you're able to manage your few thousand or your few hundred. If you're not able to manage that well, why would we be comfortable
lending
lending?
you the
And
money.
the other
Mm-hmm.
myth before we wrap up, I want to just go ahead and get out the way, Lori, is when I ask, are you really ready to buy? I'm looking at your assets. Have you saved for this transaction? Or like you said, did you just wake up and
That's a big
say,
one. That's a
I want
big
to buy
one.
a house today?
That's a big one. I mean, it's a plan. You have to have a plan in place. And so oftentimes on marketing, I'll say, let me help you plan. It might not be a right
Mm,
now. We may have to do 6 months. We may have to do 12 months. And I've worked with clients that we've had to get a plan in place because
yes.
they made the money, had the
Hmm.
credit, knew they wanted a home, just wasn't quite ready financially yet. And in terms of
Absolutely.
savings, didn't want to tap into 401k. They did have that access. So timing is everything.
I
And
agree.
like you and I agree on as well, a person's house is a person's house. Nobody can take that house away. If it's on the market and is when it's your time, it will be available to you.
That's
But
right.
the worst thing in the world that I can do is get somebody in the house and they're not ready. I'll never do that again. I didn't know it at the time, but again,
Right.
looking back now, I certainly see that that person was not ready to be a homeowner. That was one of
Experience is definitely a good teacher in
experience.
this
Is
business,
Yep,
because we
yep.
see so many different things, more things
Mhm,
than a person would ever think or imagine. Sometimes when I look at the commissions or our compensation, and I'm like, people are like, oh, well, they did it. You have no idea.
yeah.
It's because while we went and got certifications, and we recertify every year, and we take
Mhm.
continuing education every year
Every
to make
year.
sure we know what we need to know and we're on top of our game. It's still so many other things. It's the counselor, it's the all of the it's the financial coach, it's
100%.
all, you're just really, and you continue with these individuals not just at the closing table but
Yeah.
beyond the closing table.
Beyond.
We
And
build generational relationships. We
that's
don't want to
right.
just help you, we want to help everybody connected to you. So
That's
of
right.
course we're going to provide excellent quality service, and that's one of the reasons, Lori, I love partnering with you. I love when we
Oh,
have
thank you.
clients together.
Same. Same.
Even when it's difficult, we
Mhm.
don't the client never knows the difficulties. We handle it as professionals, and I like
Mhm.
that. Nobody is breaking down. So
Right.
Lori, finish this sentence for me as we get ready to wrap up.
Okay.
You're really ready to buy when.
You're really ready to buy when you have planned out your process. You're ready to buy when you have a savings. You're ready to buy when your credit is in order. You're ready to buy when I'll give you some research. You've done the research about the process and you have reached out to a realtor, aka myself, Just
A realtor.
a realtor, shameless plug. But seriously, when you have reached out for guidance, realizing that, hey, no matter how much research I've done or what a person has told me, I need assistance in this. So those things, I think, are the fundamentals in knowing that you're ready
Absolutely.
to buy. And
I
also,
love it.
you recognize that renting is just kind of, you know,
Girl.
it's just kind of, it's not really benefit. Now, I will say there are some instances where you might be better off renting if you have a job that's kind of in transit and you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be, maybe you want to consider renting. If you, you don't, your mindset is not, I want to call the landlord for the rest of my life. I don't
Yeah.
care that
Ooh.
then hey, you stay where you are with renting. But I think those things, to answer your question, you have to kind of you got to plan it like you do anything else. You got to have
Absolutely.
structure around it. So that's when I feel like you're really ready.
And you got to be real serious about it. And you
You got
don't
to be
want to build
serious.
somebody else's wealth paying the landlord because their rent is
No,
going up every year.
every
I
year
promise you.
it's going up. Hmm.
Well, Lori, I definitely want to see you back at the closing table. I know
I'll
this
be
will
back.
not be the last time because
No,
there's
of course
much to
not.
talk about in the
Yeah,
world of real estate loans and all of the things. So thank you for joining us. I will
you're
see you
welcome.
soon.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
So the question is, are you really ready to buy a house? I want you to think about it. As you're thinking about it, tag a friend, tell a friend, like, share, and subscribe at the closing table with LBK. And we will see you back next week at the closing table. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.